Video is going to cover not just installing Lightroom Classic, but also a quick run through of how to import images, edit them real quickly, export them, and then upload them on D2L. So if you go into this link to download and install Creative Cloud, it'll bring you to this page where you should be able to download it. It should be free. You shouldn't be paying anything to Adobe. You're going to have a license covered by the university. So once you download this app, it's going to look something like this. I'm going to log out of this real quick and show you how to log in. So what you're going to want to do is to start by logging into your Northeastern email in whatever preferred browser. Then go into Creative Cloud here, click on Continue with Google, and it should automatically find your Google account. It's going to pop up with an option for personal account or company or school account. You, of course, want the school account, and that will connect. If for some reason you have trouble doing this, make sure that you're in your Northeastern email. Sometimes people have to clear the cache or restart the browser, but as long as you're into your email, this should be pretty streamlined. The app is going to open up with all the different software options that you can download. You have access to basically everything in the Creative Cloud suite, but we're only going to be using one program for this semester. Now note, there is Lightroom Classic, which is what we're going to use, versus Lightroom. So LR for Lightroom, that is a cloud-based version we're not going to use. LRC, Lightroom Classic, is what we do want to use, and that is a desktop-based app that actually has more features, some of which we're going to use. So where I have open here, it should be install for you. So that'll take a few minutes once you click that to install. And then I have mine in the dock here, but basically you can open up the software. It should automatically keep you logged in as long as you're logged into the Creative Cloud app. And you're going to want to go and make a new catalog and pick a location to save it. If you're using your own computer, pictures or photos or whatever is probably fine. Otherwise, I'd probably put it on the desktop so you can easily find it and or transfer it. So I'm going to leave it on pictures, and I'm going to put in my name. And I'm going to call it LRC for Lightroom Catalog. But you can just put in your name, and what it's going to do is it's going to put in .lrcat as the file name for your catalog. So while I do that, I'm going to briefly explain Lightroom is very different than any other software program where you would open a file or make a new file and then save the file. It automatically is going to remember any changes you make in the software, and it applies it to a preview rather than the actual picture. So it doesn't actually apply it until you export it from the software, making a new file. So to import, I guess I should say first, you can see at the top, it says Nate Matthews, LRC. The idea is if you name it your name, you'll be able to find it easily, and then you can just type in .lrcat, and that helps find. You're probably only going to have one .lrcat file on your computer. If you click on Import, that will let you choose some photos, and I'm going to just grab at random here. Let's grab Sarah's images. So these are just images I've taken of different gallery exhibitions in the last year, but I can just kind of choose to import only some of these. If I click on Uncheck All, it will not highlight all of them. If I check all, it will highlight all of them, and it will check them. But what I like to do is uncheck all and then just grab. In this case, I'm just going to grab 3 images, and I'm holding down Command to select additional ones or to deselect additional ones or deselect individual, whatnot. You could also click on one, hold down Shift, and click another, and it'll highlight everything in between them. So that works well. but I just want 3, so I'm going to just grab these 3. Note that you do need to check the box. So it's not just that it's highlighted light gray, it needs to have that check marked. And where I have them on my hard drive, I'm just going to add them into my catalog, which means that it's just connecting the images to the database. But if you were copying them from a camera, for example, you'd probably want to do copy or copy as DNG, and it would choose where they're coming from, which would be your SD card, what it's doing with it, and where it's going over on the right. The difference between copy and copy as DNG is that just about any camera manufacturer like Sony, Nikon, Canon, whatnot, they have their own proprietary RAW file formats, and we want to be photographing in RAW. So what Adobe has said is we will use this DNG format and convert everything to the same file format, and we guarantee that as long as we're existing as a company, we will we'll make sure this file format is covered. So what happens sometimes is when cameras, 20 years down the line, they'll come up with a new RAW file format and they'll stop supporting the old file format, which is essentially like making it so that you can't open your pictures from 20 years ago. So this is a good thing if you're photographing in RAW, which is what I always recommend. But copy will copy it from one device to another. Move lets you move it within the same device to a different location. Add just puts it into the database so you can find it. Since mine are already on my hard drive where I want them, I'm going to select add. So I don't need to choose a location on the right, but you would want to be conscious of if you're moving or copying where you're putting them on the right. And now I'm going to hit import. And I'm just going to go over the absolute basic of editing an image. It'll take less than 5 minutes. We're going to just go into develop, the develop module here. And what I recommend to get started is just hitting auto. And that is going to try and pull out as much detail as possible. I have these 2 little triangles checked. If you click on the right one, and if your image is too bright, it'll show you where there is no detail in the whites with red. And if you click on the left one and you're underexposed, it will show you where there is no detail in the black with blue. But auto usually does a pretty good job at that. And what I like to do is then usually just pull my exposure up a little bit until I start getting a little bit, but not a lot of the red marks here. And if I just do that really quickly for all 3 images, this is maybe not the best example because they are someone else's artwork, but usually this is kind of my absolute minimal workflow is hit auto, pull up the exposure a little bit, and then stop. We'll go into all the rest of these details of all these different options on the right, as well as many more things deeper in the software another time. But I just want you to get comfortable with how the software works. So now I'm going to try and get these 3 images out of the software, which means I need to select all 3 of them. I can either hold down Command and click on each of them, or the quicker thing would be is to just hit Command A or Control A on a PC, and it'll select all 3. Then I have to go back to the library module, and I'll have the option to export. And I have this pretty much set up how I want it already. I have created a folder on my desktop called Lightroom Exports, and I'm going to choose that. And I'm going to rename and have custom settings, and I'll show you if I go in here to edit that. Basically what I've done is it had originally something as the default like file name. So let me just insert that, and I can just go in here and I can delete that, and then I can go down to custom text and insert. Oh, sorry, I don't even need the custom text. I can just type it in here. I'm going to type in my name, and I'm going to type in week 0, and And what it's going to do is it's going to be the first file will just be Nate Matthews week 0. The second file will be Nate Matthews week 0 -2. And then the third one will be -3. And that's really designed so that I can make sure that I'm giving credit to the right person if you name your files, rather than them being some random numbered thing that comes out of your camera. So I'm going to hit done. I want to make sure I'm on JPEG, that I'm at 80 or 90% quality, sRGB mode. And then I'm going to turn on resize to fit. And I just type in 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels here. I don't know what the default resolution is. Since we're looking at things on the internet, it probably doesn't really matter, but I'm going to put in 300 pixels per inch here. And I'm going to sharpen for screen resolution, standard sharpening. And then this bottom one here, you can choose do nothing, but what I like is show in Finder. And what it's going to do when I hit export is there's going to be a little bar where my name is here that's going to show the processing of it. With 3 pictures, it's going to go really quick, but show in Finder is going to make it pop up a different Finder window to show me where they're located when I'm done. So I'm going to hit export, and it'll process those 3, and then they pop up here. And this is actually the second time I did this, so you shouldn't be seeing the first set. But this is what it will look like. And then I know that I can grab these images, and I can go back to D2L, which should be, oh, I forgot what page I'm on. Well, okay, I should be able to just go in here to the assignment, technical practice upload, and let me view this as a student so that it shows the way that you should see it. Here we go. Go to assignment. I'll add my 3 files from my computer. Oops. There we go. And I'll hit upload. Add. And that should be it. And you just hit submit. And this just shows me that you were able to get your Lightroom software installed. You're able to import them. You're able to export them. You're able to find them. You know how to upload onto D2L. This is like not really graded, just a checkbox, knowing that you are able to get this done. And I'll hit submit. And that should be it.